You know, why are you risking life and limb to skateboard?
I just didn't look at it like that. I just looked at it as I thought it was fun. When I first saw people skate, it was more of a mystery to me. I'm like, how can they keep that board on their feet? How do they jump and it sticks to their feet? Like, it was just mind-boggling to me. So for me, it was like I became obsessed. Like, I need to know how that's done.
This is Entrepreneurs the Playbook, where I give you access each week to the world's greatest athletes and executives about their personal and professional playbook and what has made them champions on and off the field. This is the Playbook. All right, this is Dave Meltzer, CEO of Sports One Marketing, here on set of Entrepreneurs Elevator Pitch with Entrepreneurs the Playbook. And I'm excited because this is my third killer skateboarder that I'm having on, Paul Rodriguez,
Thank you,
P-Rod.
Yes, sir.
I love it, man. You're so humble.
Thank you.
I'm going to
Appreciate it.
start right into the fact that, when I grew up, skateboarding was just really for what we called the stoners, right? And I grew up in South Mission Beach, San Diego.
Okay.
And the athleticism of skateboarders are incredible. And I'm so stoked because, it's a profession.
Absolutely.
And, and it takes people talk about football players and the dangers of playing football. Well, I grew up with a bunch of great skateboarders and, been blessed. Tony Hawk is my age.
Yeah.
Without him, who knows where this goes.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, when I skated, there's no helmets even.
No.
And thank goodness there's helmets now. But how do you get over the fear factor of skating? Is it progression, or would you just grow up? I mean, you had everything going for you. You have semi-famous dad. Why are you risking life and limb to skateboard?
I just didn't look at it like that. I just looked at it as I thought it was fun. When I first saw people skate, it was more of a mystery to me. I'm like, how can they keep that board on their feet? How do they jump and it sticks to their feet? Like, it was just mind-boggling to me. So for me, it was like I became obsessed. Like, I need to know how that's done.
Cool.
Like, did they have magnets in their shoes, or what is happening? I need to understand this. So for me, it started out of curiosity, and then I tried it and I tested it.
How old were you?
This was probably around just shy of my 12th birthday. So like 1996, Christmas
Okay,
time.
just age me. That's fine. You don't have to tell me the year.
So for me, it was just more like, wow, this looks so cool and so fun. I never even thought about the danger aspect of it until later on down the line. So working past the fear, I mean, it's a never-ending practice. Like, I'm still to this day always terrified. I guess when you're always scared or nervous, that means you're challenging yourself. You know what I mean? So I just take an educated guess. I don't try something that I know I'm not ready for, because then you're just asking for it. I tend to work my way up step by step, baby steps, actually. I'm more of like a conservative kind of skater. Like, I'm not a big, daredevil, adrenaline junkie guy. I like the fancy tricks and stuff like that, and I like getting that rush, but I think I really practice, and I won't try something till I'm almost positive that I got it, especially the more dangerous that it is. So I'm real methodical about how I go about it.
Do you see that same thing in the business world, where some people have unrealistic expectations and end up, analogously breaking their back? Because you do see crazy guys in skateboarding that they shouldn't be trying the trick,
right,
and then they wonder why their arms are broken or back.
Right.
Do you see the same thing in business?
I do see the same thing in business, and I see the same thing like with investing, any type of, because especially like me coming from the skateboard world and now trying to dabble into business, I've even seen it in myself. I've got a couple lucky things that were like, when I look back on them, like, oh my gosh, that was risky, but somehow you pulled it off, or it came through.
That was my biggest failure, is that I took and got lucky, right? I took these dumb investments and everything kept seeming to work out, and pretty soon
that won't last forever.
Right, it won't.
Right. So I come from the world of like, endorsement deals. People just pay you up front, very nice sums of money just to do what you already do. So like, you're used to that type of vibe. Then you go to do an investment, or say you're talking to like a financial planner, and they're like, this is a really smart investment for your money. You're gonna make 4 or 5% on it, and I'm like, what? That's not exciting. That's not sexy. Or like,
right,
ooh, invest in this business. Put in 100, 200 grand. 3 to 5 years from now, you might be able to get some returns. We might get you dividends of like, $3,000 a year. And you're like, what? You're like, what is going on? Like, this is not, how do people make any money around here?
Right.
So I see that. I myself, I invested in this brand called St. Archer, a beer brand, a few years back. Actually was a founder.
Were you old enough to drink when you invested in it?
Yeah. I was, what was that when we started it? Maybe 26. Yeah. So, myself, another pro skater, Mikey Taylor, and a friend of ours, Josh Landon, we founded a beer brand. And at first we were like, we're just gonna contract brew. We're gonna market it, because in skateboarding, we all like drinking beer, but there's no beer sponsors out there. Why don't we start our own? That's our thought process. Nice. So we went through the process of doing research and we can just go contract brew, put our labels on it, market it, distribute it, no problem. But then we find out that you have to sell crazy amounts to even make any type of profit on contract brew, because the margins are so low.
Right.
And then we find out getting distribution is the hardest part in that world, in that industry. So we went from, this is going to be like, 20 grand, we each put in 20 grand, it'll be cool, not too big a risk, to like, we need to start our own brewery and raise $2 million. And like, none of us had done a capital raise before. So we put in our own money, we went out, we pitched it to other skateboarders to get them involved, other business people, and somehow we raised $2 million, opened up this big brewery, and we were in over our heads. And
like
luckily,
taking a big trick on, right?
Yes, but like when you're not ready.
When you're not ready.
Yes. And so our CEO, Josh Landon, he quit his job. He was a surf filmmaker. He would make surf videos and do stuff like that. And he quit 100%, moved his family from Ventura down to San Diego, completely dived into the craft beer world, learned everything about it, and just like, he's the type of guy, like, when his back's up against the wall, that's where he works the best, under pressure.
I get that.
And we had $2 million of other people's money, this big building that we had to pay all the bills for, employees now, and somehow after the doors open of the brewery, 2.5 years later, he was able to get us to a sale where we sold to MillerCoors, and it worked out for everybody. But like, we weren't profitable even yet. We weren't anything. So if you'd have told me that process from beginning till after the exit happened, like, let's go do that again, no, sorry, dude, that is not for me. That's too high pressure for me. I wouldn't have been able to. So we got dumb lucky on that one. So that was a good example of just risking it, and thank God we got lucky. But
have you had any failures yet?
Nothing too huge. I've had minor ones. I invested in this other. It was more of a startup brand. Some friends of ours started up this little wallet brand. Didn't really pan out much, but that was early on. That was before even the beer thing, but didn't put up a lot of big money there.
Do you invest in annuities? That's so, because when I was your age, I made a lot of money when I was your age, and I wish I had an interview because I was doing the same thing, right? Investing in stocks, I invested in real estate, I had a golf course, a ski mountain, everything I touched turned to gold. And then when I was 50, these, financial guys were like, Dave, do you know what annuities are? I had no idea, right?
Right. When you say, I've heard the term, I don't actually know exactly.
It's basically very conservative, 100% guaranteed return, but the return is, if the market sinks as low as it does, you're guaranteed 2%, but you get the upside of the market.
Right.
So it can go to 13, 15, 16%, but there's tax-free benefits, and it accumulates and aggregates. So it's great to do when you're young. So it was interesting because they were saying, well, you're young, right? And I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm 45. And they're like, yeah, but if you invest for 10 years and you hold it for 20, when you're 65, you're going to have, millions of dollars tax-free for the rest of your life, and it keeps growing. And I had so much money when I was young, I wish somebody would have said, look, play your games. Here's 10, 20% of your money, play your games with.
Yeah, have a budget,
but
have fun with it.
Focus on keep on making money, and this stuff you just put away and don't have to worry.
Right.
It'll never go away.
Right.
Your money just keeps growing, and you have these tax-free benefits, which in California, like us, you're already saving 52%.
Right.
Right, so you're actually getting a return as you get tax-free dollars of 52%.
That's cool.
Which people don't think about when they're young.
Right.
So one of the things I encourage you to kind of look at these different things, which brings up a point, right? It's interesting because your whole attitude in life while you're successful is to be more interested than interesting. Right. I love the fact most guys, like, they started
like that
skating because their
saying.
older brother was skating or what. You were more interested than interesting because, skateboarding for me as the tricks got more hairy. I was like, yeah, how does the board stick? Or even with bike rider, right? Like, how does he stay on those pedals?
Right.
But that attitude, you and Josh, because there's no way he turns that beer company into what it is without being more interested than interesting. A lot of guys would have just quit.
Yeah,
Right?
absolutely.
And I don't think it's as lucky as you think. Now, you took a big chance,
Right.
and not everybody turns out, but you guys have an attitude. All the guys that were involved in that deal, and I know some of them, you have winner attitudes. You're more interested than interesting. You consistently, every day, persistently, without quit, enjoy the pursuit of your potential. Speaking of which,
I like that.
what's your next potential? What are you enjoying pursuing?
Well, right now, this isn't even actually business, but the last 2 years, I've just been taking acting classes. I've been enjoying doing that.
I'll get you on my show, buddy.
Yeah, sure. Let me get on. Let me
No
audition.
comedic work?
Not yet. I actually got a little part in a film that's going to come out, I think, September, October. It's called The Children, and I play a cop in one scene there. That was my first role that I booked. But I've been taking the acting classes. But other than that, I have a couple businesses I'm involved with. My skateboard brand, Primitive Skateboarding, is a brand that I'm involved with, and this year we're having I think our breakout year for us. We've been in business 10 years now. It's been a long up and down grind. I think we're finally hitting some smooth altitude, which is really fun. I actually got involved in agriculture. My father owns 40 acres up north, like kind of near Fresno, of lemons. Or it was actually oranges and lemons, but he didn't know how to run it or whatever. My whole life, I grew up there. My grandparents lived there, my cousins, and we would go visit, and it was just like a playground to me. And my father was making a ton of money, and my grandpa, it was just kind of his hobby, so he bought him a ranch, and the family lived there. But after my grandfather passed, the place never brought in money for itself, so it kind of became a money pit. And my dad asked me if I wanted to get involved because I was doing other business things. I was like, I don't know, this was a little over my head. So I actually called a friend of mine who I knew had his own little ranch, little avocado trees, and if he knew anything about it, he went up there with me. We checked it out. He told me there's a lot of potential there. So I again, kind of ignorantly got into it.
Come on, man! You turn lemons into lemonade.
Literally. Yeah. So what we did is the orange market went down. We took 20 acres of oranges, got rid of them. I bought 20 acres of lemon trees to fill up the other 20 acres. So now we have 40 acres of pure lemons. They're finally we're about to go into our second pick in 6 weeks that we've ever done. The lemon industry is actually booming right now. For whatever reason, China's buying a lot of lemons from us. So I'm involved in that, which is a really interesting trade.
I'm going to buy a big string and just hang you by my neck. You're like a lucky leprechaun.
We'll see, man. We'll see. We'll see.
P-Rod the Buddha. That's awesome, man.
I'm trying, man. I'm just trying. I'm just applying myself. I think I learned that a lot from skateboarding. Is like, you mess up a lot more than you succeed in skateboarding. So that's kind of just, my brain already is okay with that concept.
It's interesting that you say that because I deal with a lot of football players a lot of times, and all sports. But the interesting thing that I say about taking risks is that physically, if you get hurt, right, you fall off a board or whatever, it only hurts for so long. Like even a broken bone heals quicker, but when you business-wise get hurt, right, it
stings, man.
It stings inside and out.
Yeah.
And people ask me, because I had this philosophy of why I thought I was successful, is I played college football not too far from you, Occidental College, and I did my best. And the hardest thing for me about football was to do my best and still get my butt kicked. But there's a lesson in that because I never quit, even though sometimes I was getting my butt kicked. I just kept playing because, one, I loved it,
right,
and two, I really wanted to see I wanted to get I wanted to do as best as I could do, but it hurt to know that no matter how great I was, that I was still getting beat, and I wasn't. But it really applied to the business world because I felt like you get beat, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of guys would quit when you had what happened to you in several different businesses, right? Orange market goes down. They don't have that attitude of, this beating's only temporary, but it does hurt more. ego-wise,
Yeah,
and even can
100%.
affect your physical being.
Yeah.
And I much would, still looking back, I'd much rather get my butt kicked on, in the Oklahoma drill, and everybody kind of laughed because I weighed 147 pounds, and Vance Mueller, who ended up playing for the Raiders, ran me over.
That's cool.
And the seniors were like that, right? But it didn't hurt nearly as much as going bankrupt, for example.
No, I feel
learning
you
those
on that.
lessons.
I feel you on that. And they say it's best to go bankrupt before you turn 30. Luckily, I haven't had to go that
Don't
far
do it,
yet.
man.
But
Average entrepreneur goes bankrupt. Average millionaire, I'm sorry, goes bankrupt twice.
Wow.
I told myself when I went bankrupt the first time, never going to happen again. In fact, I started studying how to keep my money.
right.
Everybody's like, "Oh, so what are you going to do?" I'm like, first thing I'm doing, I'm studying the Rockefellers, the Vanderbilts,
yeah.
Napoleon Hill.
Yep.
I'm just studying. I talked about annuities. I made a plan how I knew how to make money. Like you, some of us are born with an unconscious competency.
That's
We
cool.
just make money when you're young, right? But I was going to learn something I didn't know how to do, how to keep it.
Right.
And that's been the big difference the last 10 years of my life, where now everything comes to me, and I do it by giving back, which leads into my next question. I know you do a lot, for the community. What are you doing today to give back to the community? I know you have some involvement.
For me, really, I like getting involved with people who have a passion for it, right? So right now, this is just a one-on-one thing. I'm actually working on this project with a friend who I met through Instagram. He just DM'd me one day. He's a 26-year-old guy. He's got a young son named Joshua suffering from brain cancer, and he hit me up because he had an idea on a T-shirt he wants to make to sell to bring in revenue towards children cancer research. And what he told me is that out of all the money raised for cancer research, only 4% of it is dedicated to children's cancer research, which was shocking to me.
Yeah, with
It's-
St. Jude especially, right? The
Yeah.
biggest charity in the world.
Yeah,
There
yeah.
could be more.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm just doing a thing with him where I'm just using my platforms, my social media platforms, make a little video of the process of him making the shirt. I met with his son. He's a beautiful young kid, man. He's fighting hard right now. He's like in a good kind of stable position right now. He's had it for 3 years. So that's kind of my main focus right now, is just helping him to create this shirt and bring awareness to that 4% of, that's only going to child's cancer research. To me, that's the most important thing. I like going to the Children's Hospital here in LA and visiting with the kids and the children and stuff like that. So for me, like, if it has to do with kids is what I really am into.
Does it kind of freak you out? I know, we both are building our brands online.
Yeah.
And I'm obviously a little older, but it still freaks me out, like, when people are just in awe of meeting you.
Yeah,
Right?
it's
Because you're young,
a trip.
and it's like, it's a trip. Especially, I love it when it's kids who, like, follow me, and you go visit them, and maybe they're not doing well, or
Right.
even their parents.
Yeah.
And, like, they tear up, and you just know that you being there has made a significant difference in their life.
Yeah.
Like, there's a little bit of inspiration that somehow could, and it's extreme power.
Yeah.
Has that affected you in any way? Because you're not even
It's
30.
humbling. It's humbling. When people meet you, or like sometimes I've met people and they will tear up and cry, and I'm like, wow, like, because you just feel like yourself. You
You're
don't feel
normal,
like you
exactly.
just feel like yourself. Like, some people look at you and you're like, what are they freaking out about? And then you realize, oh, forgot about that.
It's me,
Like,
right?
Yeah, they know me. Oh shoot, okay. It's good, man. I'm not gonna lie. It's a good for a good ego stroke.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. But it's also motivating and humbling at the same time. It's humbling to make yourself feel like, oh wow, like, this is a responsibility.
Yeah, right.
People
But
look
stay
up
humble.
to you to, like, and you're inspiring people. So continue with that.
Yeah.
And also, it makes me want to push myself to be better, grow bigger, do bigger things, do more things, find ways to give back, find ways that are like real ways to give back. You know what I mean? So that's what it does for me. I mean, I think it does more for me than it does for them, actually. It's kind of a selfish thing.
Yeah, last question.
Sure.
A lot, I'm a little older, and a lot of people say, what advice would you give to yourself when you were 21? I like to ask young superstars like
Yeah.
yourself, what advice would you give me, a 50-year-old, at your age?
Ooh, I mean, give you a 50-year-old from my age perspective? Pff, I don't know. I'm qualified to do that.
That's all right.
man.
Just give me something, man.
I would say be present as much as possible.
There's a lot of wisdom in you young people.
Thank you.
That is a very, very great advice that you should hold on to yourself, and I will take that advice as well.
Thank you.
You know, P-Rod, it's an honor to have you on here.
Oh, much
I look forward to
appreciated.
doing more stuff with you and your companies.
Please.
I love working with young entrepreneurs, as you know, and you are a terrific young man,
you.
great athlete, and an entrepreneur.
I love to learn, so I would appreciate anything you got for me.
I love your humility as well, so
Thanks,
thank
man.
you so much.
Much love. Appreciate
Dave
you.
Meltzer with Entrepreneur, The Playbook.